Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Please subscribe to the channel. Cost you nothing. I promise you're not going to get redundant BS content like some other channels. Boom! Terence Crawford. The fans of Terence Crawford are pleading for him to be fair about the rematch weight against Errol Spence. And you know what? For the Terence Crawford fans that come out and start talking like that, that means even they realize the truth of it is, right? Terence Crawford would not be in the position he's in if it wasn't for Errol, The Truth, Big Fish, Dallas, Errol, Man Down Errol, Lions Only Errol Spence. That's a fact. You know, just the idea, right? There's a lot of rumors circulating right now. I've done multiple videos. You can go out there on social media and see other people doing videos. On Twitter, everybody, if you ask them, they got Errol Spence and Terence Crawford on speed dial. I tell you what, if the guys on Twitter who are posting a lot of these comments about Spence and Crawford and the weight issues and the money issue, if they got Crawford and Spence on speed dial, well, I got Obama on speed dial, all right? But nonetheless, you know, all these rumors about Crawford wanting more money, about Crawford doesn't want to make the fight at 154. He wants it at like 148 with a 10-pound rehydration, which I think is BS. But the bottom line now is the rumors, and it's more rumors, take it with a grain of salt, but I tend to think where there's smoke, there's fire, that Errol Spence is like, nah, ship sailed. Doesn't want to take the fight if he's got to get down beyond 154. Now, understand this, right? Because I'm not saying Crawford's wrong. If, in fact, he's like, no, we're going to rematch at 147. Or we're going to rematch at 148 or whatever crazy weight, whatever is going on, right? Anything other than 154, less than 154. I'm not saying he's wrong because he's A side now. If that wasn't explicitly spelled out in the contract they signed about what weight they'll find out if there ends up being a rematch. Well, then, you know, the ball was dropped somewhere. So that allows Crawford to identify, hey, it's a great area here. So I'm going to make sure going into the rematch, I have the advantage again. And that's his right. So I'm not saying he's wrong. But when it comes to just morals and ethics, man, you know what I'm saying? And I'm going to even say this, bro code, which this just goes to show there's no bro, no friends in business, right? But when it comes to ethics, morals, bro code, if Terence Crawford doesn't make this fight at 154, he's broken all of that. And he's taking it to the stupid. He didn't hold his horses, and he had a big bowl of dumb ASS for breakfast. And I'm going to just call it like it is. Because that's wrong. That would be morally, ethically, and bro code wrong, in my opinion. This man would not be in the position he's in right now. You know, by him beating Errol Spence, look, everyone, it's no secret. This is one thing that's a fact. It's no secret that if Errol Spence didn't say, hey, key decision makers behind the scene, Al Heyman, Secret Society, everybody, make the fight. Give him whatever he wants, whatever. Flip a coin, who's going to walk to the ring first and last, just whatever. Make the fight. I promise the fans, I know I'm out of shape. I know I got a lot of weight to lose. And I know I'm going to be at a disadvantage. But you know what? I think I can beat him still. Hey. And he went against what he was being advised. And you know, hey, we saw what the outcome was. He didn't just get tranquilized. He almost got killed in that damn fight with Terence Crawford. Okay? So, coming full circle, okay, hey, he said Terence Crawford's the man, but if we have the rematch, hopefully it'd be at 154. And Errol Spence was almost like begging during that post-fight press conference. He wasn't trying to hear the questions and stuff people were asking him. He wasn't trying to dialogue about anything else but that weight. That's all he was concerned about. Even fight week. That's all he talked about. Oh, the weight, you know, weight, cutting the weight, man, yeah, well, miserable weight. I hate the weight cut, man. And I was like, damn. That was his Achilles heel, people. Now, I'm not saying him at 154 he beats Crawford. I think Crawford beats him anyway. But what I'm saying is, he did you a solid, Crawford. He said, you know what? I'm going to make the fight. Errol Spence knew Crawford had all the advantage going into that fight as far as weight and who would be fresher. He knew that. He knew what he had to put himself through to get to 147. And he still went in there and took the fight. So the least Crawford could do, the least he can do, make it at 154. What you scared of, man? Majority of people feel Crawford's going to beat him out. Even if fighting at 200 pounds, Crawford beats him. Anyway, because it's like I said in the video, Errol Spence is elite. Crawford's just more elite in all areas. But at 154, yeah, would it be interesting? Yeah, it'd be interesting just because we're like all anticipating the fight at 154 and see what happens the first 3 rounds. But I think in the first round, as soon as Errol Spence feels that, you know, that damn boom, that Crawford southpaw stance, he's right-handed, and this jab with his power hand, as soon as he starts, he's going to start to relive that first fight. And he's going to sit there and try to box and do something that, you know, he just isn't going to be able to do well against someone like Terence Crawford. But this right here is a foul. That's why a lot of the fans are like, nah, if Crawford doesn't give him the rematch at 154, they're going to put a heavy eyeball on him. There's already these people out here talking about, you know, I'm going to tell you, this whole thing about snacking Conti. Of course, I've done videos. I've been talking about Conti, Heredia, Ariza, and Usman Sajjad, man, for over a year. Nobody out here talking about that stuff like I talk about it. You know what I'm saying? We have fun with the subject. We talk facts with the subject. And we'd also talk about the fact that having those guys in your corner, it can make you look bad, but just because they're in your corner doesn't mean they're giving you, you know, banned substances. But I'm the one that came up with the cocktail, especially the Ariza cocktail, the Conti cocktail, the Heredia cocktail, the Usman Sajjad cocktail. So anybody who's working with those, what I call them, the pharmaceutical geniuses, if they're giving you supplements, I'm going to refer to as they're giving you a cocktail. Now, it doesn't mean that it's they're giving you something illegal, but if they're giving you stuff, it's a cocktail. It's just like if you have a child. I got 4 sons. You take them to the doctor, especially when they're small, they got a fever, they give them a cocktail. Motrin and Tylenol. Double whammy. Boom. 1 shot to bring that fever down. Okay? So the reference of cocktail isn't something defamatory. No. Not at all. It's just a very clever way to capture what these guys are being given by these pharmaceutical geniuses. But there's already people out there who think Crawford was doing something illegal. And some of them out here apologizing because, you know, they probably got some heat. It's one thing to have a conversation and say, hey, you know, do we feel like that made a difference, you know, and, you know, what's the benefit of having someone like a Victor Conti in your corner with his history? You know, they always say guilty by association. So that's not a positive thing, but at the end of the day, he's been helping a lot of different boxers. So the fact that if Crawford won't fight Spence at 154, there are people out here who are saying, no, that's because Crawford has something to hide. And I think that's just how the human mind works for some people, man. You know, they already want to believe that there was no way you could have beat someone like Errol Spence. They feel like Mike Tyson says the skills are primitive, right? They feel that somehow they see Terence Crawford as somewhat primitive in all areas when it comes to boxing compared to Errol Spence. Of course they're going to think, well, he had to be on something. No one in the world he could do that to Errol Spence. No one's ever done that to Errol Spence. Well, maybe because Errol Spence never fought Terence Crawford. Maybe that's why he never looked like that. Okay? Talking about Terence Crawford never looked that strong. I beg to differ, man. Whenever Terence Crawford starts to let the leather go, and he starts off slow. He didn't start off slow in that fight. But whenever Crawford starts to let the leather go, the fight changes. And especially when he goes from orthodox to southpaw. Like I say, he goes into the phone booth and comes out as southpaw man. Whenever Crawford turns into southpaw man, it's just a matter of time before the fight ends. He came out as southpaw man. Okay? And the fight ended in the 9th round. It should have been stopped sooner. But I would say if it would have been stopped around 3 or 4, that would have been perfect. To me, it should have been stopped in the 3rd. But because that's about what it takes for Crawford once he becomes southpaw man for a fight to stop. About 3 rounds, 4 rounds maybe, once he goes southpaw. But that being said, Terence Crawford, If he forces the fight at 147, Errol Spence is going to walk away. Rumors are that he's already walked away. He's not entertaining that crap. But I'll tell you what, that's going to be a black eye on Terence Crawford. And what it's going to do with Terence Crawford and the fact that he's being lauded for his accomplishment against Errol Spence by a lot of people. There's some people still hating on him, but a lot of people are praising him. You know what I'm saying? There's people out here rooting for him. They're championing that victory. They're championing this man's name and his victory. But if he comes out here, man, and it's like, nah, I want to make the fight at 147 or whatever, I'm telling you right now, he basically just baselined his whole career all over again. He's back at square one. And there's going to be a dark cloud hovering over him and his legacy of what happened with the rematch. What is it that he couldn't do the second time around that he was able to do the first time around, to where he wanted to draw Errol Spence back down to 147, where he didn't want to go up to 154. Like, what is he afraid of? What's changed? Why can't he do it all again? But at 154, why 147? Like, he's putting duck sauce on the fried rice. Basically, he's trying to find a way out of fighting Errol Spence. See, that's how the conversation, the narrative is going to go. Nobody's going to sit there and say, well, hey, Terence Crawford, man, he beat him the first time. He's the A side. And if he wants to have the fight at 147, no one should frown at his decision as the A side, as the undisputed champion. You already know, man. Everything's going to sit there, man, and go to a negative direction, because that's just the tendency most people have. And plus, nobody wants to hear the positive. Not many people want to hear the positive. Majority of people like that. It's even like with humor. They like shock humor. Even this music today. That's why I'm out with the new one. I'm in with the old school. I ain't got time to listen to this crap. It's like shock value. It's ridiculous. Same thing when it comes to news about boxers. Nobody want to hear the good stuff. That guy Felix Verdejo out there in Puerto Rico killed his little girlfriend he had because he was afraid for everyone to find out that she was pregnant with his child. Went out there and foolishly killed her. Nobody wanted to hear that, oh man, hey, he got off, find out that, they decided to cut him a break. No, they want to hear the craziness. They want to hear about how he killed that girl. Now he in prison, she's dead. People, they all into that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody want to hear about, his wife is still by his side because that's true love, and nobody want to hear that. They like the shock value. The more extreme, the better for them. And with Terence Crawford and how they're going to depict him, it's going to be an extreme case of slandering, an extreme case of trying to defame his character, and an extreme case of accusing this man of just being involved in all the wrong things. But what I will say is, I think it's fair to have a conversation about certain things based on the company you keep. I think that's fair for anybody. It's like you go out here on YouTube, you see some crap about Errol Spence was being chased by somebody from, I don't even know these rappers' names. I don't listen to this crap, man. I talk Eric B, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane, some Super Cat. I'm old school, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't know nothing about this new school crap. But what I will tell you is there's something about him being chased by some guy who had beef with his friend Yellow Beezy, Yellow, whatever the hell his name is. And it's like, goddamn, it's like, this is what y'all talking about with Errol Spence? And that car accident he went through, this man died and came back to life and messed himself up, and this is what y'all talking about? He's mixed up in some crap. I'm like, damn, they'll create videos on anything, won't they? But anyway, Crawford, if you just happen to be watching my video, now be fair about the weight, if it's true. But I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I just don't see Crawford as the kind of person that would sit there and knowing how Errol Spence, he thanked Errol Spence for making the fight. He acknowledged if it wasn't for Errol Spence, there would be no fight. Crawford said that on multiple occasions, multiple platforms. After the fight, going on these radio shows, going on these morning shows, news broadcasts, that man spoke very highly of Errol Spence. I can't see him come now and be like, you know what? I got your back. Boom, 154. You did me a favor, gave me a shot, 147. I know you didn't want to come down to that weight. You didn't want to give in to my concessions, boom. We're going to give you. All you want is the weight. You're not asking for nothing else. No, the crap I wanted. Boom, we can do that. Because even for me, it's hard to make 147. I can't see Crawford not being that way. I just can't see that. But if it doesn't happen, oh boy, there's going to be all kind of people who are sitting on their couches as potatoes who's going to come out here and create boxing channels just so they can sit there and ride that wave. You know how many videos you can make just talking about this Crawford and Spence crap? It's like a never-ending saga. You know what I'm saying? I sit here, a lot of my videos over the last month have been about Spence, ever since they fought. Spence Crawford, Crawford Spence, because my brain is just firing, you know, the different things that I'm thinking. There's so much more to talk about boxing outside of Spence and Crawford, but again, you know, what do people want to hear and see? Nobody wants to hear me keep talking about Ricardo Torres out of Temecula, California, and Jalalov, and those are the next two best heavyweights, you know. Nobody wants to hear me talk about that. When I do those videos, they don't really get many views. Let me drop something on Errol Spence and Terence Crawford with my little almost 4,000 subscribers. You know what I'm saying? They all over that. But that being said, hopefully we'll get a little bit of a clarity on what direction this is going. But like I said, I don't know if there's any teeth to the claims about weight, about wanting more money, about Errol Spence walking away from the fight. But what I will tell you is, if from where there's smoke, there's fire. I had somebody hit me up. I get a lot of people who, like, as the channel grows, I get some people who hit me up for different things, and I don't respond to most of it, you know. But I there is someone who touches base with me every now and then because I'm out here in Texas, and we kind of got into it at first. Where I was cool. Where he's surprised that I'm here in Texas and I'm not supporting Spence. I'm like, look, first of all, man, I'm not. Forget this long hair. I'm not the comment guy, because I'm retired, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't get caught up in this bull crap. I'm just a guy who likes boxing. I'm going to talk what I talk, and I'm not biased. So after a little back and forth, he once he understood who I was, he had a little more respect, and I understood I wasn't just a typical content creator, because, you know, I'm all right. But I don't know, shared a couple things with me, and I was just like in one ear and out the other. That was legit. So seems like he has a little pulse on some things that are going on out here in Texas in the boxing circuit. So some of the stuff he says, I don't talk about it, but the one thing he told me, he basically said, like you say, where there's smoke, there's fire. And I was like, oh, okay, so that's his way of not telling me that there's some issues going on with weight and contracts and Earl being ready to move on. But that's his way of saying it without saying it. And he didn't mind if I mentioned what I'm telling you of, as long as I don't, you know, talk too much about him, which I'm not. But what I will tell you is I just take everything with a grain of salt. And I wouldn't be surprised if it went that way, because I'm sure Errol Spence has his mother, father, friends, girlfriend, maybe even his kids. They don't want to see him go back in that ring unless he's at a weight where he's comfortable, he's strong, he's not killing himself. You know, we don't see what they go through with that struggle with the weight cut. We don't see those guys go a couple of days without eating and stuff like that, just getting ice chips. We don't see that waking up weak. We don't see that. We didn't see him at the weigh-in. Nobody saw them when they weighed in. Who knows if they had to carry Errol Spence to that scale? You know what I'm saying? Who knows if he was going to that scale, his body was shaking, his legs about to give up. It's just things y'all got to keep in perspective. That being said, Terence Crawford fans that plead for him to be fair about the rematch, the weight against Errol Spence, hopefully he makes it fair, does the right thing, and we can get that fight popping. That being said, y'all keep cool. I'm in the breeze.